Assalamu alaikum. I'm Al, the official representative of Lian, Padukan, Australia. In this session, we will not do any punching or kicking or even grappling, but we are going to briefly discuss some philosophical aspects of Muslim martial arts. First of all, we need to understand what are Muslim martial arts. In fact, there are two definitions of Muslim martial arts. We can say that any fighting system that has been developed and flourished in a predominantly Muslim territory, such as the Malay archipelago martial arts, or we could say the martial arts that adheres Islamic ethical and chivalry principles, such as many styles of martial art developed in China's mainland. Personally, I prefer the second approach. A legitimate question may be asked: why do we call it Muslim martial arts, not Islamic martial arts? The answer: while the philosophy of the martial arts may draw from the Islamic teaching that covers all aspects of life, the art's martial techniques, such as strikes or blocks, cannot be said it is part of the Islamic teaching, and no one can claim divinity or sacredness of a specific technique. That's why calling, calling it Muslim martial art rather than Islamic indicates that the techniques and even the philosophy, which is an interpretation of the Islamic teachings, are human endeavors. There are many styles of Muslim martial arts, such as Pincha, Mempo, Silat, Wapukul, and can be found in Indonesia and Malaysia. Also, we have Chan Quan, Tan Tui Quan, that has been developed by Hui ethnicity in China, plus many styles of Kali Eskrima by the Moro ethnicity in the Philippines, and several of staff fighting styles in North Africa, just to mention few of many. But what what is the concept of self-defense in Islam? Let's agree together that it is undeniable that self-preservation is an essential basic instinct for any living being. And here comes the Islamic teachings to supplement a primitive instinct that is shared with animals into a complete ethical framework. That's by defining the situations that an individual or a group may use force and by setting the boundaries of using this force. Islamic teachings acknowledge that there are situations that there is no other choice but to fight, and it's stated clearly in Quran chapter 2 verse 216 that fighting has been enjoined upon you while it is hateful to you. And in several other places in Quran, it clearly states that fighting is the least favorable option. Saying that, the Islamic teaching praised the concept of continuous preparation, physically and mentally, and explained this continuous preparation may stop the conflict before it erupts, and considered a high level act of worshipping. Quran chapter 8 verse 60 states, "Against them make ready your strength to the utmost of your power, including steeds of war, to strike fear into the heart of your enemies, of Allah and your enemies, and others besides whom you may not know, but whom Allah does know. Whatever you shall spend in the cause of Allah shall be repaid unto you, and you shall not be treated unjustly." Also, the Islamic teaching put in a high level the virtue of strength, physically and mentally, and does not ask individuals to be hermits. The Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, says, "A strong believer is better and dearer to Allah than a weak one, and both are good." As we have mentioned before, that the Islamic teachings try to sublimate a primitive instinct that is shared with animals by defining the situations and setting the boundaries. That's why in Islam there is the concept of daf'ul sa'il, repelling an assailant, where an individual or individual properties is under a certain physical assault. In that situation, the individual is permitted to repel the assailant by the least harmful but effective means. Here, the welfare of both sides are greatly considered. So, in theory, if a fierce cry would stop the assault, it is not permitted for the individual to even push the assailant under the excuse of self-defense. Also, the Islamic teachings stress upon the concept of secure and safe society. Thus, the concept of self-defense spans from individual self into collective selves, and the responsibility of defense falls upon every capable individual in the society. And in Quran, it considers the prevention of vice is a distinguishing factor of Muslims and a nation, as stated in Quran chapter 3 verse 110. "You are the best community that ever emerged for humanity. You advocate what is moral and forbid what is immoral and believe in God." Saying that the Islamic teachings prized the forgiveness and reconciliation. If being taken from the position of power, and promised whoever practiced forgiveness and reconciliation after gaining the upper hand with unperceivable rewards from God. As mentioned in the Quran, chapter 42, verse 40, "The repayment of bad action is one equivalent to it. But whoever pardons and make reconciliation, his reward lies with God. He does not love the unjust." Now we come to the forbidden J word, jihad. First, from the linguistic point of view, the Arabic word jihad literally means struggle or effort. That covers all kinds of effort taken to achieve ideal results for a noble cause, be it on studying, work, self-improvements, or fighting. Interestingly, that the Mandarin Kung Fu means literally the same thing. There is a misconception promoted by Islamophobists that the meaning of jihad is the holy war and its purpose is to wage a war of distinction against all non-believers. Clearly, this claim has no ground from linguistic or theological point of view, as the word jihad, in the context of fighting, refers to the effort taken to prepare or conduct a fight if and only if the fight is for a just cause. One might wonder why any religion or even a secular moral system discuss principles of fighting and warfare. The answer is Islam is an integrated way of life, and conflicts is part of the life. As always will be evil, there is always a need for a group who can stand against this evil to achieve the equilibrium in our earthly life. The Quran states in chapter 55, verse 7 and 8, and the sky he raised, and he set up the balance. So do not transgress in the balance. And this runs in all aspects of life to maintain the balance. So, in this brief introduction, we have demonstrated what does Muslim martial arts mean, how the philosophical aspects and the moral reference of that art is what classify that art as a Muslim art or not. Thank you for your attendance today, and do not forget to like and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.